This episode brought to you by Audible! Audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin for 30 days free in a book to get you started. For your book recommendation, I believe it's Mikey this week.
Mikey.
I got one. Okay, who likes Star Trek?
I like Star Trek.
Great, then you'd love this book, Red Shirts by John Scalise.
Oh, I've heard of this book.
It's such a funny book.
Yeah, and it's about like the red shirts in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Well, like, you know, the rip-off Star Trek thing he does.
Star Trek. Here we go.
Speaking of Star Treks, this week we watched Alien.
That's right.
So check out Red Shirts on Audible at audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin.
Maybe check out Star Trek.
It's narrated by Will Wheaton.
So go to audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin for 30 days free in a book to get you started and make that book Red Shirts. This episode also brought to you by Nick B.
Hey, Nick B.
Hi, Nick.
Wow. Wow. So I have a fun fact about Nick B this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about like video games and RuneScape because of that one.
Because you're both super cool.
RuneScape, please.
Because we're both super cool.
Yeah.
I actually want to clear up a myth. I actually never played RuneScape, but because I was a partner Twitch streamer for like 3 years, it was during the time that RuneScape was like really popular, so I knew of it.
I don't think the story checks out.
Yeah,
Todd.
he just reads RuneScape for the articles, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. So Nick B's fun fact this week is that he once called into work 2 times back to back, so he took 2 days off in a row to play RuneScape, to do like a raid in RuneScape.
Nick B.
Yeah.
How could you?
But this is coming from someone who spent over 5,000 hours playing Counter-Strike, which is like 200 days.
Oh, my God.
So I am not one to talk.
No.
Nick B, keep on gaming.
Yeah, Nick B, but go to work sometimes.
Yeah, like you got to pay them bills. Speaking of people who are paying bills, this week, this episode's also brought to you by
John!
Yay!
Oh, John. He's
We got
new.
a new Burn It Down level. John, thank you so much. From the You Can Get It level to the Burn It Down level this week. So we are celebrating by
Burning some shit down,
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Fun fact about John.
What?
Uh-oh.
He got that money because of blood diamonds.
What? Blood diamonds?
Yeah, he's in the blood diamond business.
He watched Leonardo DiCaprio die, and then he took the diamond.
No, I think he was producer on that movie, right? That's the blood diamond business he was a part of. Not the terrible one that we're not going to...
They're both pretty terrible.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, John, for bumping it up to the Burn It Down level. I actually sent him a message asking him if he wanted us to plug anything, but he has not responded yet.
Ah, well.
Because that was like 2 hours ago. So we're going to give him some more time.
His fortune's illegally funded by blood diamonds. It was nice having you as a Patreon.
It was.
Thank you so much for your short-lived subscription.
And hey, Eddie and Veronica, we see you too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are doing extra.
You guys truly can
Everyone
get
on the Patreon is doing extra, and we really
know.
appreciate it. And if you guys want to help do extra, go to patreon.com/horrorvirgin. Sign up for a level and get some awesome perks.
And we've got a really fun idea that we're brewing right now. It
It's-
might be a little while, but I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
Oh, hey, Todd.
What?
I've been meaning to ask you
Oh, yeah?
if you would mind bringing the theme music in.
Ha!
Just in case you forgot.
No, I know how it sounds.
Welcome to the Horror Virgin, everybody. I'm Jen.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd, which means I don't like being scared, and I generally hate all horror movies. Speaking of scary movies, this week we watched
Alien, yes.
The 1979 classic. Is it a classic?
Oh, yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
This is an iconic classic
Yeah.
movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
so much so that I knew one of the big scares because of Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Like, it was in Spaceballs. I even said it before the thing popped out of his chest. I was like, oh, this is the scene where it pops out.
yeah, people who haven't seen this movie know this movie because it's that big.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Let's do some first thoughts. So this is the first time I'd seen it. You guys have both seen it before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been alive, so yeah. So yeah, it was my first time seeing it. I do think it was a good movie. I never want to see it again because it was. You guys saw that there were some parts that genuinely scared me.
Yeah,
so like,
I got some good
I
videos.
did not enjoy it, but I can see why it's like famous.
Yeah.
Like people know this movie because it's good. Like it's a good movie. I didn't like it. It's not a good movie for me, but I understand why everyone loves this movie. It holds up pretty well. Mikey and I were talking about that during the movie.
Yeah, Well, one, I'm a sci-fi nerd, so I like love this movie.
I am too. Like I like space stuff, but it's never space horror.
And so I love this movie as a kid. I love this movie now. It really holds up, I think.
Don't hate me, people.
You don't like space anything.
I really don't. So I avoided this one for a long time because aliens in space just is not my thing. I understand why people like it. It's just not really.
But
I think it's because I can't really relate because I've never been in space and I've never been on a spaceship. But I do. So it's hard for me to put myself in that position.
Yeah. I get that.
I enjoy it. Every time I watch it, and I've only seen it about 3 times, but every time I watch it, I like it more.
No one's been on a spaceship, Jen. Like,
no. So what I'm saying is it's hard for me to put myself in the shoes of the characters.
You are literally one of the most empathetic horror watchers I know. And you're like, I just can't put myself in their shoes because it's in space.
I didn't say I can't. I said it's harder for me to imagine myself in that position.
So what you're saying is you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes if they're magnetic boots.
What I'm saying, exactly. What I'm saying is I'm not afraid that an alien is going to try to blow up my spaceship.
You're not?
Because I don't have a spaceship.
But not because aliens exist.
Right. Whereas I am afraid that somebody might be living in my attic, or I am afraid somebody might break into my house.
So, like, you'd be more afraid of signs than this, because don't aliens come to Earth?
I mean, I like this movie. I think it's good. I think it's very well made.
Well, Ripley is on your Final Girl shirt.
That's true.
Well, I say yours, but it's
I like Ripley. Yeah. There are a lot of things I like about this movie. It's not one of my favorites, but I do really like it, and I consider it a great movie.
I'm surprised you've only seen it 3 times.
Yeah, because it's just space is not my thing, you know?
I get it. Like comedies aren't your thing.
Right.
How many times have you seen Ace Ventura: Pet Detective?
Once was enough. But I do like Dumb and Dumber. You know, the heart wants what it wants. Some movies I just like and some I don't.
I love that, though.
I recognize it's a good movie. There are things that I really like a lot about it, which we'll talk about. It's just not one of my favorites, you know?
Strong female protagonist. I thought you would love this movie.
And I like that
I'm
part.
very surprised.
I do like Ripley.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
That's the one time you get to make that joke.
Oh. All right, let's get into this fucking movie, Jen.
All right, so the first thing that we see are our opening credits that tell us what the Nostromo is, and we see the Nostromo ship. That's the ship that they're on. Oh, and then we pan through the empty ship. There's bobbleheads in it, and then a computer comes alive.
Is the Nostromo the mining ship?
Yeah, it's like a mining... They're a mining crew, but it's also towing some stuff.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the structure of it, but like they're towing a mining ship, or at least they're a mining ship with like a, I don't know,
it's like a cargo kind of utilitarian ship.
And you can like undock the spaceship part from the cargo part, because they don't land the cargo part on the alien world.
So they're like truck drivers.
Right.
Yeah.
And their rig is pulling a tractor trailer of a mining thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the important thing is it's not like an exploration mission. It's not like they're not like scientists going out to explore. They're just kind of workers in space. Truckers in space is how I've heard this described, like in the pitch meeting. And they're starting to wake up.
And we realize that John Hurt is like, I think he lost 90 pounds in stasis because his tighty whities are just tighty loosies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was boxers.
Wouldn't it be Lucy Whiteys then?
Either way, he should be wearing something more form-fitting.
That sounds like the nickname of like the like weird old guy down the street. Don't go over to that guy's house. That's Lucy Whitey's.
Wouldn't that be an old woman if it was Lucy?
Gross.
No, Lucy's a legit name.
In the future, there's no such thing as colored underwear. No one's wearing colors the whole film.
Favorite color is freedom.
I guess that's true.
I like colorful boxers, and I'm proud of it. And I wouldn't want to be on this spaceship because, like, I want smiley faces on my boxers or fish or whatever. Right now, it's movie tickets.
On your boxers?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Nope. Veto, I have certain rules in the pod loft. We have established this on Twitter. All right, carrying on.
I'm not good at Twitter. Here you go.
All right, so we've got...
I'd buy a ticket to
You
that
want to see
show,
my Lucy
Maggie.
Whiteys?
No. All right, we've got everybody waking up from stasis. And this is not blue liquid stasis pods.
No.
This is like little beds with covers stasis pods.
Yeah, they're more comfortable stasis
cat
pods.
accommodating, laying downing.
You might say
pods.
cat accommodations.
Cat accommodations?
Nailed it.
All right, so they're all kind of waking up and talking over their meal, and they're talking about bonuses and like getting shares and getting paid out, and they're all kind of just whining about their paychecks.
I like this scene because it kind of establishes that this is like a very blue collar kind of crew.
They definitely are.
Yeah.
I mean, even Dallas, who is the captain
Dallas
of the
is
ship,
Tom Skerritt, the captain.
is sort of like blue collar.
I love me some Tom Skerritt.
I like. I think
me
he's great.
too, dude. So they're talking about how they've heard a distress call.
Oh, that's right. Because when they wake up, they think that they're like close to Earth.
Yeah,
Because they
they
weren't
should
supposed to
be in
wake up
Earth.
until they were close to
Yeah.
Earth.
Right.
But Tom Skerritt goes to Mother.
The mother room that's like this computer room with lots of lights.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those confessional rooms in like the Big Brother house or the Real World house, and they go in and they like can like talk to the computer screen and like ask
Producer, you mean?
Right.
So he's like, Mother, Ripley really made me mad because she like didn't take my laundry out of the thing.
I know. I think I'm gonna vote her out.
Immediately cut to Ripley like, Tom Skerritt is a bitch.
Okay, but so it's like this tiny little light where they can like type stuff into the computer and get readouts.
No, they don't type just stuff. They like ask it random questions. It's like a Magic 8-Ball computer. Tom Skerritt's like, Mother, like, what's going on? Like, what? Like, he doesn't even talk.
He's
in,
like, what the fuck, mother?
Yeah, he talks in like street vernacular.
WTF, Mother? Where are we?
Like, where even are we?
It's like signs are not good.
How do these computer programs work?
Yeah, I think that was just a thing people thought computers would be able to do in the future, like predict the outcomes of things. So he's asking, why are we awake? We're not at Earth. And Mother tells them, he actually comes back and tells the whole crew what Mother
Well, yeah,
said.
because Mother told him. Yeah,
Right. Mother
Because
says
he's on the up and up.
Exactly, because he's Tom fucking Skerritt, man. So he says, so we're supposed to be near Earth, but we're actually halfway there now. Mother woke us all up because we got a distress signal.
Does it say the planet that they got a distress signal
It was like
from?
C1214.
So it doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
It's just like a number, a
But
destination.
it's not in
Okay.
the system. It's in a different, which I imagine is a different solar system.
Yeah, because and there are two ladies. One of them is Ripley, and one of them
Lambert.
Lambert. And Lambert says like 1,000 times, "This ain't our system."
No, that's Ripley. Ripley says that.
No, they both do. And then Ripley says it mockingly back at her. She's like, "This isn't our system."
Ain't our system.
Yeah, we get it. We get it,
I
Lambert.
love this movie because like the only people who are right all the time are the women in this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like real life.
Yeah. All right. So, so they're talking about how they've heard a distress call and now they are contractually obligated to go find out what this
Oh,
thing
yeah,
Yeah,
because
'cause,
Mr. We don't know he's a computer, Winky Blinky. He is like, well, you don't get your shares if we don't go to the planet.
is. Right.
Well, yeah, because like the two most blue collar guys were like, we'll do it for twice the money.
They're the ones who are already talking about their bonuses and want
Yeah.
more money. Yeah.
But they're like the space mechanics.
the
Yeah.
engineers.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. They have like postdoctoral degrees.
No, they were space
yeah,
mechanics.
no, they're engineers.
Yeah,
oh,
that's
okay. My bad.
No one on this ship had a postdoctorate degree.
This is where they say like the distress signal is not confirmed human. Like they just know it's a distress signal, which I didn't really quite understand.
I didn't like that part because it's like
Yeah.
it's repeating every 12 seconds. They don't know what it says, but
Yeah.
it doesn't establish that they've ever met an alien before ever.
Right? That was my thing.
So you're gonna jump to alien? I'd be like
Yeah.
some crash ship,
Yeah, or maybe it's mechanical or like
a robot,
You know,
yeah, like
yeah.
a probe.
but still, that would be human, right?
Yeah,
it would be human made,
Human
but
made,
not
Sure.
yeah.
coming from a human.
But I mean, the distress call would probably be in a human language. And when I say human language, I mean like English or Japanese or
Right.
whatever, or binary or shit like that.
oh, 110.
110, 112, Todd.
Ooh, yeah.
There are no twos in binary?
Yeah.
Binaries are just ones and zeros.
They are in the future.
They found a two.
Trinary.
That's how the Terminator became self-aware. It does happen in Terminator 2.
That's right.
What?
Yeah,
we
but
cracked it
Where do you think the 2 comes from in Terminator 2?
this whole time.
Oh my God, we fixed it, guys. All right, so they decide to go down to planet C147856113 or whatever it is.
Right.
So they're landing on the planet, and it's a bit
Yes.
of a rough landing.
Oh, it's pretty rocky, Wanky Blanky.
Actually,
is.
it's not. They like get really close to it.
What does it? Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's really smooth, and then they just like, and then it all blows up at the end.
It makes
and then
no
it just kind of
sense.
crashed down.
They honestly do what
They were
looks
3
like.
feet from the ground, and it was like,
They honestly do what
everywhere.
looks like a decent landing, and then shit starts to blow up on the spaceship.
yeah. Then Tom Skerritt's like, no one lied to me. What happened?
Yeah, he's like he says, "Give me a straight answer." Like people have been lying to him for an hour, but
Right.
no one has said anything. Everyone's just trying to put out fires.
Right.
Tom Skerritt's not the best captain ever.
Well, it's just like when you park your car and nick like a curb, and then like there's 4 fires inside your car.
Oh yeah. Oh, how many times have I done that? That's why I keep that fire extinguisher in the glove box. I'm just saying Tom Skerritt flies out the handle for literally no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his ship and it blows up for no reason. I'd be like, what did y'all do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now they're dry docked and they have this loud argument.
It was probably Tom Skerritt yelling at them for fucking up his ship.
Right. Like they got 3 feet from the ground and they just decided to like drop the rest of the way. So it squashed all of the landing gear.
I once saw my dad do that when I was a kid with his first computer. He couldn't get it to work, so he lifted it 6 inches and dropped it. And then it started working again.
Nice. That's like the Fonz just bonking the jukebox.
He did it many times, and it usually fixed it.
Is this the argument that the mechanics were telling them, like what was wrong with the ship?
Yeah, they were talking. They said dry docked a bunch.
Because the old guy says it'll take 17 hours, and then the other guy says it'll take 25 hours. Wangy blangy.
And then Ripley goes down to talk to them, and they turn on the vents so they can't hear Ripley.
I do kind of like how this whole crew kind of relates with each other, you know, because it just feels like they do work together and kind of like each other to varying degrees, you know,
or hate each other.
That's not what I got from this scene at all.
I mean, some of them do like each other. Like Tom Skerritt and Ripley are definitely fucking, but the two mechanics / engineers
are also definitely fucking.
Yeah, they're definitely
they're dry docking somewhere.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You can cut that out.
I am definitely not cutting that out. This is staying in the pod. It was amazing. But no, like they definitely do not care for everyone else in the ship.
Right, but they're like, it's just like people you work with, you know, like the closer you work, you kind of, some people are annoying.
And how long have they been on the ship together with people? Like,
exactly.
Even if you slightly don't like somebody, but you're stuck with them for a year in a ship, you're going to be like, man, fuck Ripley. Mm-hmm. She's not my friend.
It's going to back to that big brother. Yeah. To go vent and be like, Ripley drank all the orange juice, and she's a bitch.
Yeah, she's out of the alliance.
And we got 6 more months.
And then it cuts to Ripley. Hawaiian shirt guy's a bitch. Welcome back to Survivor Spaceship.
All right, so they're talking about the transmission. This is when they find out that it's just repeating the same thing over and over again. And they know they're stuck here, and they're like, well, how close is it? Should we just get out and walk to the thing? So once the ship is fixed, we can get the fuck off this planet.
Yeah, because they have 25 hours before they can leave.
Right.
So they're about to go adventuring to find this thing.
Yeah, the 3 of them.
Yeah.
And it's Kane, John Hurt is Kane, Lambert, and Dallas.
Yes. Yeah.
Why would you send the captain to go to a ship?
And that's why I recommended red shirts.
Yeah, because this just shows they are not built at all or trained to rescue.
What's the other people's jobs?
Okay, I've got everybody's jobs written down.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so Dallas is Tom Skerritt. He's the captain.
Right.
Ripley is Sigourney Weaver. She is the warrant officer, and I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Third in command. She's third in command.
Yeah, she's third, and I think that's kind of what that
Behind
means.
the science officer, I guess, question mark?
I don't know. Okay.
I think Kane was second in command.
Ooh, okay.
I think so too. Kane is the executive officer because
that
she
makes
says,
sense. Yeah, XL.
when Dallas and Kane are off the ship, I'm in command.
I'm the captain now.
So not only did the captain go, the XO went too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but who
insane.
did they leave in charge? Ripley.
Yeah.
So I guess they were just like, she's going to be better at being in charge anyways. Okay, Lambert is the navigator.
I believe it's pronounced Lambert.
Lambert. Oh, pardon me.
I don't know.
Lambert is the navigator. Brett is the engineering tech. He's Hawaiian shirt. Kane is the executive officer. We talked about him. Ash is the science officer. Parker is the chief engineer.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so that's who everybody is.
Thank you for going through the job list. I think that'll clear things up.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think so too. So they are walking around the planet and they see a big spaceship. And it's like a curvy horseshoe kind of spaceship.
This planet sucks.
It does. I keep thinking that they're going into a cave, but it's just real dark and kind of windy and stormy, and it's just awful to be standing everywhere.
Yeah, it's dark and stormy.
They go into this spaceship because
why would you do this?
I know
this is so dumb.
It obviously is not a human spaceship.
No.
The only thing I can give them is that they go into the spaceship. I can understand why they do that because that's like the reason they walked out. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to go like their contract obliges them to do this. But once you get in the spaceship and you see all the fucked up shit, that's when you get the hell out of there.
Oh, like once you confirm it's not a human spaceship?
Exactly.
Yeah,
you see a bunch of crazy shit.
Confirm that visually.
I thought you could from the outside.
Field away.
The spaceship has nostrils.
Yeah. I would have been like, that's not ours. Let's call for help immediately, which is what Lambert says. She goes, we don't need to go in there.
Right.
Let's go back. We know this isn't good.
How are the people on Earth going to be able to prove that you went into the ship or not? So they go into the ship, and then they're just kind of looking around. John Hurt's climbing up something, and then we see a giant skeleton in a captain's chair. And I think these are known as the space jockeys, I think.
Yes, they are the space jockeys.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like a giant skeleton.
It's definitely not a human skeleton, though. Like,
no,
this
because
is
it's
another.
like 5 times bigger than that.
Yeah, this is another. We should get the fuck out of this place immediately and call the space cops or whoever you call.
1, you've discovered aliens. 2, it's dead. So you know
Something killed it.
or it's crashed and it's dead, and it's like the distress call's not for us. We need to go.
No, something popped out of its chest and they saw that. They were like, oh, something popped out of this chest.
It exploded from the inside.
He's not even a doctor.
Yeah, he's a captain. Yeah, of a truck in space.
Yeah, he should have just been like, we gotta get out of here. Get on the CB. Call for help.
Real fucked
Breaker,
up.
breaker 19. We got some real fucked up alien house shit going on over here. We got to get the hell out.
Call in the authorities.
Burt Reynolds comes in, just laying on a bearskin rug, half naked for some reason.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe that's my fantasy.
We need Smoking the Bandit over here now. ASAP.
So we're back on the ship, and Mother deciphered the signal and says it's a warning, not an SOS call. And Ripley wants to go after
Right.
them and chase them down, but
Because
Ash says no.
Right, their radio signals won't transmit when they're inside the alien ship. So
Right.
Ripley is like, hey, I'm going to go run up and tell them that it's a warning.
Yeah.
And then Space Officer Bot says, why would you do that? That's a mistake.
Yeah.
Also-
I am programmed for evil, not help.
Why would you not wait for the transmission to be translated before you go?
Exactly.
Huh. It's almost like they're not scientists. It's almost
Right.
like they make bad decisions.
Yeah, except they go there, they're like, obviously, an alien came out of his chest, but let's not wait for the transmission to be translated before we
Exactly.
go to the ship.
Yeah, let's explore more of this ship. So,
Yeah.
because now John Hurt is rappelling down an intestines-like hallway thing into another layer of.
It is. It all looks like all the
does.
hallways look intestinal.
Yeah, or like the skeletal kind of
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, why? I would barely explore a ship if it was like, go to the next door. But he's
Right.
like, I'm going to rappel down into this unknown area of the ship.
know.
And it's huge. It's like a huge chamber.
And you've already discovered a dead alien. Like, what
Right.
else do you want to discover?
Well, what he does discover is a bunch of eggs and just slips and falls into them.
Oh my God,
He said,
this is
"I'm okay, I'm
ridiculous.
okay."
Because there's like a walkway above the eggs being on either side. It's like when Darth Vader walks onto the bridge of the ship and like the people are down below him in like these little work troves or whatever. It's like that, but it's eggs, alien eggs. And he just is standing there and then doesn't move at all, but slips down into one of those little egg areas.
No, but as he slid, he's like, there's a glowing mist on top of the eggs that
Yeah.
reacts when you touch. Oh, I fell through it.
Ah, yeah, and it is really cool. Like you can kind of see the mist over top of the egg.
Yeah, I'll
it
say
kind of
this-
looks like they're underwater.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a cool effect.
It
Yeah,
is
I'll
cool.
say this about all the effects, and we talked about this when we were watching the movie too. The effects hold up really well, and I think it's because they don't ever try and overreach. Like they knew what the technology was, and they just fucking nailed it.
Yeah. Well, fun fact: they actually won an Oscar for best visual effects.
I just thought it was funny that he's like, the eggs react to when you touching the mist. Oh, I fell through it. Oh.
It's almost like you can't stand on mist. Yeah,
So he sees and he's looking at this egg, and you can start to see something moving inside it.
yeah.
And then it slowly
Looks like we
opens.
have life.
I'm
Yep.
not the father.
These eggs are fertilized.
The egg is slowly opening, and he's looking. It's like this pulsing pink thing.
Yeah, tell me more.
It almost oh, gross.
It's gross.
It is gross. Yes, it's
It looks
just
like an
gross.
oyster. If like an oyster was
Yeah,
an
kinda.
egg, an oyster egg,
Say that word again.
oyster egg,
Oyster. There
oyster
you go.
egg.
Yeah.
All right.
So pink and pulsating.
Yeah, pink and pulsating, and then slowly opens up, and then it just bursts out into his face.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
terrifying.
because he sees this gross thing that's moving and he doesn't know what it is. So his natural reaction is to stick his face right next to it.
There's so many bad choices that John makes.
Well, you can't.
So many bad
You
choices.
can't make an alien without breaking a few eggs.
Or faces.
Face
Can't
plate.
can't impregnate an astronaut without breaking a few eggs.
I'm so conflicted about this because he fucks up so hard in every way.
John Hurt gets deep throated by this alien. and
Yeah.
it stays down there.
It definitely does. And I knew that this happened. I'd never seen this before because like the chest popping scene I had seen just because like GIFs or whatever or GIFs. So I've seen the chest popping scene, but I've never seen the face hugger scene just because I haven't seen it in pop culture anywhere. So
Yeah.
like that generally scared me. And like I just felt like
It was
he
a
deserved
scary
it.
moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
It like goes through his helmet and it's just scary.
Yeah, because he's real stupid.
And if I think about everything in this movie, the face hugger is what disturbs me the most. Like that is the thing that's the scariest for me. in this movie.
Yeah, I would rather get mini mouth inside mouth punched than have a face hugger on me.
Yeah. So he's got face hugger on his face, but we don't know that yet. We just know that he got face punched by this thing. And so
Right, and it's like stuck to the visor, I should say, of his helmet.
now we're back at the ship, and Ripley is saying, I'm not supposed to let you in. You're supposed to be in 24-hour quarantine.
Right, because
like-
in case something humped your face and
Exactly.
you have an alien inside your chest.
And then you let it into the ship, and it kills the entire crew, and you end up having to blow up your ship.
It's almost like the people with advanced degrees in your company who made all these rules had reasons for them.
Exactly.
and are not on this vessel because we are space truckers who don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so Ripley's like, I'm not opening the door.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not
No,
going to do it
yeah.
at all.
Even when Dallas is like giving her an order to
Yeah.
do it, she's like, no, and you know why I'm not supposed to, you know?
Yeah, and the space officer just goes ahead and does it.
The science
Science
officer,
officer.
Ash does, yeah.
My bad.
They're all space officers, you know?
Technically.
So they let him in, and they go back and they're looking, and they cut his helmet off, and this is when we see the face hugger actually on his face.
Yeah, it's real messed up looking.
It really is. So they're trying to cut this thing off, and this is when they find, oh no, they're trying to pry it off, but the tail tightens around its neck. So they do an x-ray, and that's when
that's
they
right.
see that the thing is
Yeah.
going down its throat
Yes.
and like giving him air and like keeping him alive. So
Well, that's what we think it's doing. We
Right.
don't
'Cause
know.
they don't know 'cause
And-
they don't know what the
and
fuck this thing is.
And I'd like to take a
Exactly.
moment to say the special effects for this thing on this guy's face is real good because it looks
It is.
disgusting and real and alive.
It does, but it doesn't surprise me too much, though, because the thing, which came out, I think, the year after this, has a lot of really awesome sort of body effects or like alien effects that look somewhat similar. And by that, I mean excellent. They look great.
Yeah.
And this face hugger thing, is that what they call that?
Yeah, they call
alien?
it space,
The-
face
the-
hugger.
the
Face hugger.
Space hugger. that thing looks amazing. It looks great.
1982 was the thing.
Okay, so 82. So a
only
few
3
years
years
after.
later, yeah.
But yeah, it looks good.
And so they're talking about trying to cut it off, and Ash is saying, well, it might kill him if we try to cut it off. And
Yeah.
Tom Skerritt was like, well, fuck, we still need to get it off. I'll take that responsibility.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
like, are you going to have us on you? He's like, sure, I'll take the heat for it if it
Right.
kills him.
And then,
because that is the concern that Ash has. Ashbot's like, well, it may be giving him oxygen and stuff. It may be the only thing keeping him alive at
Yeah.
this point. And Tom Skerritt's like, well, I don't give a fuck. We're taking it off. I'll take the heat if it goes wrong.
And Ash is played by the guy who plays Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And like the whole time in this movie, he's definitely like channeling his I want the ring personality.
My precious.
Yeah. Except the Precious is the alien.
Yeah, he's like,
but
Because
yeah.
what he's really saying is if we cut this thing off, I can't do my evil plan to get this
Exactly.
thing back on. Okay, so they try to cut it off. And this is when we find out that the blood is corrosive because
Yes.
a little bit drops on the floor and it
Like-
eats right through the floor.
Super corrosive.
Yeah.
Like it eats through 2 or 3 floors
Yeah,
of
because
this
then they
spaceship.
immediately run down. They see it's
Yeah.
eating through that level. They got to run all the way down. They finally find it, and they find that it's stopped.
Yeah.
But so this is the defense mechanism, and this is how they find out well, you can't kill it, or you can't like shoot it or like cut it because if it gets blood everywhere, it's going to eat through our ship, and we'll all die.
Or through you. Like if it was
Right.
close to you and you shot it with the gun, like some of that would get on you and it would just eat you up.
Right.
Which I don't think happens in this movie, but happens in other Alien movies.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They made other ones? Yeah.
Aliens for the Revenge, starring Michael Caine.
Yeah.
What?
He found him on that alien island. Man.
It's the Jaws team up of aliens.
The pitch
Nice.
for this movie actually was Jaws in space.
I've never seen Jaws, but I sort of get that
I can
because
see
you
it. Mm-hmm.
rarely see the alien, but it's always looming. I get that.
So Ash is now studying stuff. He's detectiving what this thing is. He's looking through the microscope. He's looking at pictures. And then Ripley comes up and starts giving him shit for opening the door.
As you should.
She
Yeah,
should. Yeah.
because-
She's like, dude, I was the one in charge. And you're a fucking scientist. You know that this is an important thing for us to do. And now you've let this thing on the ship. Was there any part of you that kind of suspected that he was up to no good?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that he was just really passionate about bringing this alien back home, back to Earth, because he wanted to study it.
Yeah, even
Yeah,
if
so-
it risked the rest of the crew.
Right. So I thought in my mind that he was doing it because his ulterior motive was maybe not financial and maybe not even
Fame.
professional, maybe not even fame, but just general curiosity. Like like a scientist, like, holy shit, this is the first ever organic alien species we've ever run into. This would be a huge find. It would help, whatever. I want to bring it back.
Right.
So like that's the only thing I thought was his motivation. I did know because, it's not going to be a horror movie if everything goes great. great. Like,
Yeah.
if it just comes off John Hurt's face and they put it in a box and go home and everything's cool, they all get medals from Prince Leia and Chewie's like yelling and stuff. But like, I knew it was going to end badly, but I thought it would be more like hubris instead of like him trying to get them killed.
Right,
more or
he got
less.
more like just curiosity.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, Ripley's like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to be in charge, and I like.
Well, she is third in command, and they
She
sent
is.
the top 2 ranking officials out on a search party, which was real dumb.
This is the first time that what's his name, Ash, does this annoying thing and says, Dallas, you need to come look at Kane. I can't tell you what it is, but you just need to come look at it.
Yeah,
That bugs me.
and then he's like, has the status changed? And he goes, it's just quicker if you come here. And you know what's quicker? Just saying yes,
That just makes it
Ashbot.
sounds like they're secretly hooking up.
Exactly. Or no, like Winky Blinky, I need you to come look at Dallas. Hey, we need to talk about Dallas immediately.
But Dallas is hooking up with Sigourney Weaver.
Privilege of leadership.
It's good.
That's the patriarchy.
It's good to be the king.
That's the patriarchy too.
It's space triarchy.
Space triarchy.
You think-
They go upstairs to look at Kane, and the thing has come off of him, and so he's just laying there.
And has disappeared.
Yeah, it's come off of him, and they don't know where it is. So they just kind of tiptoey creep into the room with no weapons and not even turn the lights on.
And don't even close the door behind them.
Right. It's like
There's
at one
an
point they
alien
remember.
on the ship. It has disappeared. Let's just walk in there with no weapons, creep around, and hope it doesn't go out the open door behind us.
No weapons, Todd. 2 people had flashlight screwdrivers.
That's
Oh,
right.
excuse
Teeny
me.
tiny flashlight driver.
Excuse me. I'm going to use my sonic screwdriver to see what happened here.
So and it just kind of sneaks down onto Ripley's shoulder, but it's dead. So it falls onto Ripley's shoulder and then falls on the floor and it's dead. And so then they start dissecting it because Ash is super curious.
Without eye protection,
Yeah,
even though it
without-
has acid blood.
Yeah, getting their faces real close to it, and Ripley's like, "We don't know what it is. It might be contagious." While her face is inches from this
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So now Dallas and Ripley go off and talk, and this is the first time somebody tries to walk down a corridor and somebody else just power move shuts the door right in front of them.
Yeah, she does to him, right?
Yeah, and so she's like, "I don't trust Ash."
It was clear to me in that scene that they were sleeping together.
So there was a scene written where they were hooking up, but I don't think it was necessarily as romantic as kind of just we're in space together.
Yeah,
for
it's
a
just
long
like,
time.
I'm a man, she's a woman.
Well, and so they talked to Ridley Scott, and they're like,
Let's do this, Mikey.
Welcome to space camp.
But so there was a scene written where they were hooking up, but they talked to Ridley Scott and they're like, this really, we just don't need this in the movie. So they ended up taking it out and they never filmed it.
In that scene, though, it feels like there's some tension
It
there.
does, or at least
Some
like
sexual
chemistry,
tension.
you know, and
Yeah.
I kind of just took it as they get along. They're one of the people on the ship that kind of get along with each other, you know. This is when we find out, because Ripley's saying, I don't trust Ash. Do you trust him? And Tom Skerritt,
Oh, this is when he says he's
says-
the science officer, so when it comes to science matters, what he says goes.
right,
Yeah.
but that I had been working with the science officer who was supposed to be on this mission for like 5 or 6 years. I knew him really well, and he got replaced by Ash at the last minute right before this thing took off.
That guy's like the luckiest guy in the space.
Exactly, yeah. Or
The
maybe,
luckiest guy in the space.
or maybe he's on his own evil mission somewhere.
Yeah, maybe he's going to look at the event horizon
I know.
right now.
Maybe it's Sam Neill.
It was Sam Neill. Oh my God.
Do we ever see
Ash and Sam Neill in the same place. But even if we did, it'd be fine.
I know.
Yeah, because they are two different people.
Right. Okay, so now they just take off from the planet.
They're super surprised they take off like
I know.
Well, two of them certainly are super surprised. Parker and his employee. What's Parker's employee's name?
Hawaiian shirt
Brett.
guy.
Hawaiian shirt guy, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, it worked.
I
They're like, smooth sailing, right?
They're all like high-fiving. I mean, they're not, but they're almost high-fiving like, oh my God, it
know. Hey, we
fucking
didn't
worked.
die. I didn't kill everyone. Okay, so now they're talking about what to do with Kane. They're saying, well, now we're all going to have to go into quarantine because when we get back, this fucked up thing happened on our ship.
Oh, that's what Ripley says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Lambert is like, well, that's a downer.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, this is when Ash comes on the radio and says, hey, Dallas, let's come check out Kane.
I bet you want to know what's going on with Kane right now, right? Well, you're going to have to come upstairs to find out.
And all the
So
other
they do.
crews are like, what is going on with those guys?
I think we talked about this, actually.
No,
It's
this
the second
happens
time that
twice.
happened.
What?
Yeah, I told you.
There's like weird secret-y announcements on the intercom.
So, wait. That happens twice?
That
Yes.
happens twice.
So the first time when they find Space Face Hugger, when they find him the first time dead, they then go back, talk for a bit, and then go back And that's when Kane, oh my God.
That's when Kane wakes up.
Really?
Yeah, he's wearing
I
I think they finally unlaced his corset so he's able to breathe a little bit
That's
more
what it is.
deeply.
Because in this scene, he's wearing like a lace-up corset that is loosened.
And Ash is like, dude, I just can't describe this corset over the intercom. You just have to come up and
gotta
see
be
it
what
for
it is.
yourself.
He's like, I think Kane got into Sigourney Weaver's lingerie.
I know. Get up here quick before he takes it
Dallas-
off. You got to see.
Dallas, Kane's Facebook status has changed.
To it's complicated.
I cannot tell you about it. You need to come see.
And then he walks in and Dallas is like, I think I saw Ripley wearing that earlier this
definitely
week.
saw it. I saw it on my floor for a little.
I did not realize that John Hurt was like a handsome
Was
dude.
ever young?
Yeah, because in my mind he's always been 50 and the voice of a dragon. So like I didn't realize that he was like a hot young dude.
They get upstairs and Kane is corset wearing, sitting up and coughing.
Yes.
He's talking about how he had a dream about being smothered, I think.
It seems like he's fine though, for all intents and purposes. He's like good. He's
for
like
having
cool.
that thing on his face.
And that's when Dallas is like, hey, we're going to go back in stasis and then go to Earth. And John Hurt's like, yo, I've got to eat. I am so hungry.
Yeah.
And that's when they cut to the cafeteria scene.
Yeah, and this is the chest burster scene.
Yeah, and this I knew was going to happen the second I saw the mess hall because it looks sort of like the space diner they're in Spaceballs. So
Yeah, it's supposed to.
no, I know, yeah, and that's why I knew it was happening.
Yeah, well, this is one of the most iconic scenes in all of horror, I think, and it's very effective. Except that I have seen it and been aware, like I've seen it out of context so many times that it kind of loses its impact. So I was watching it tonight, and I was trying to kind of put myself, like what you said, like imagine if you saw this in the theaters and you had no clue what was happening, you know, because he starts kind of choking, and then he just kind of flops back on the table, and everybody's trying to hold him down, and I think he's having a seizure.
They're trying to put a spoon in his mouth.
Right, yeah, and something kind of pulses. First of all, there's a big splat, and there's like blood all over his
splat of blood.
shirt. Yeah,
and it hits Lambert in the face, or maybe it doesn't yet.
No,
It doesn't
some of
yet.
it does. And
I thought it did, but yeah.
Some people take a step back and some people still hold him down.
And so then it bursts out of his chest and then kind of just sits there in his chest for a while. And it looks like it's a tiny little alien. And I mean, everybody who's listening, I'm sure you know what this is.
Yeah, they've seen it.
Yeah,
for
if
sure.
you're over 10 years old, I feel like you know what this thing looks like. Now,
And if you're under 10 years old, welcome to the podcast.
hey.
Turn this off because it sort of looks like a penis.
It does look like a penis.
Yeah.
It looks like a penis with little. Yeah,
It looks
it's very
like a
phallic.
penis with a grill.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody is freaking out and looking at this thing, and they're like, "What the fuck do we do?" And then it just kind of scurries off.
No,
Yes.
no, the chief engineer like grabs him to kill it.
Yeah, it was
That's right.
and Ash
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
Don't kill it.
Don't kill it, my evil plant. Oh, no, it has corrosive blood. Yeah, because they know they can't kill it too.
Although it looked like he was going to hit it with like a
Baseball bat or something.
it was
Frying
something.
pan.
You know
And
what?
if
I still would have tried to kill it.
yeah, me too. I think if you hit it with something that's not going to cut through the skin, you'd probably be all right.
Yeah, maybe.
Knock it out.
Also, I feel like you're adrenaline rush in that moment, and you're not necessarily thinking about that stuff. So you just either run the fuck away, cry on the floor, or just smash it with whatever you
Jen's
got.
absolutely right. Fight or flight, man.
So then they bury Kane at space.
I mean, and it's like
They wrap
bury
him in
him like
toilet
a-
paper and flush him.
They bury him like an evil goldfish.
Aw.
Tom Skerritt's like, anybody want to say anything? And no one does.
Because
He's
they're like, no, there's
all
a
right.
fucking alien that might be right behind me right now.
Yeah,
We need to get
you know what
busy.
you don't take time to do?
Yeah.
Give someone a proper space burial when there's an alien mucking about your fucking spaceship.
Exactly.
Lock it up, Tom.
Right. Maybe if they tried to chase it down, they could have got it. It was still a little bitty baby alien.
Yeah. You know how fast that thing can go? Not as fast as a human can.
Yeah, not as fast as you can wrap a corpse in toilet paper. That takes a long time.
Yeah.
So now Brett, he's Hawaiian shirt engineer. He's just pulling up all kind of harpoon-like weapons, but I think they're actually like cattle prods because they don't want to break the skin of this alien.
Right.
because they don't want
It
to get
is
corrosive
a
stuff.
cattle prod. Or maybe not a cattle prod, but something that is
It
based on a
functions
cattle
like
prod.
a cattle
yeah.
prod. Yeah, it's like a long taser. Ash is talking about how he made this motion-controlled tracking device, and it's like a big box with like kind of a
It looks
penis-looking
like a
wand
leaf
thing.
blower.
It kind of looks like a smaller leaf blower.
Yeah, it does.
And so they're dividing into two search parties too, and it's Ripley and Parker and Brett and
Tom Skerritt, Lambert,
Ash.
and Ash. That's right.
And they're creeping around, and we don't see. All we see is Team Ripley, and they're creeping around.
Yeah, and they've got a net, they've got the cattle prod, and then they've got the leaf blower of motion detecting.
And they got a lot of courage.
It's a literal rope net.
They track movement to cargo holds,
like a
right?
locker kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of lockers stacked, and each other, and they're like, "It's in this container."
They're
So they
getting
get the
close.
net
They
ready.
got the net ready. They got
get
the
the
cattle
cattle
prod
prod ready, and then someone opens the door, and it's Kitty. That actually scared me though, because
Yep.
it's like a pretty intense buildup, and then it's just a calico cat.
So what did you? It was an orange tappy, but what did
Oh,
you
my
think
bad.
was gonna?
I just got cat shamed.
You did. Yeah.
Brett with the Butterfingers net just drops it on the cat and run away.
They either prod this cat or catch it.
Right.
Yeah, one
yeah, so
or
what
the
were they
other.
gonna do if it was an alien?
Well,
they
the
weren't
cat's
ready.
out of the bag now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely out of the locker for sure.
So now Brett just takes off by himself looking for this cat.
I think she tells him to go get the cat because he dropped the net.
Because the cat was setting off the motion detector leaf blower. And they're like, we got to catch that cat or it's going to set it off again.
But literally, Mikey, they've just talked about how they cannot split up.
Oh, I'm totally agreeing with you.
And then Ripley's like, you know what, Brett, you fuck up. Go by yourself and get that cat.
And he wanders like a mile away.
Yeah.
He does, yeah, slowly.
So he's wandering through other cargo holds that are like
That are
raining. And there's this like big chains hanging from the cargo ceiling.
He's definitely wandering through 80s music video sets.
Yeah, it was definitely the set from Beat It. Anyway, so he like walks and it's like raining on him, or I'm sure it's just water from condensation or whatever, but he like has a sensual moment.
Well,
with
first,
rain on his face.
and then puts his hat on, and he's like enjoying the rain through
It's
his
really
hat.
weird. Yeah.
I mean, he's taking a little moment
If
to
his
enjoy
last
his
moment's
life.
alive, he's may as well enjoy them.
Well, so before that, he finds the cat again and he tries to grab him. And while he's walking away, he sees like the molted skin from the tinier alien. So he starts to realize this thing is getting a lot bigger.
I bet he picked that up and was like, I can make some wicked boots with these.
Yeah, it'll go with my corset.
Everyone's issued a space corset when they get on the ship.
Oh, I'm going to
And
get
it's up to them to accessorize.
Dallas
as they see
has
fit.
some weird fetishes, and as captain, he gets to see them.
I'm going to
acted
one
out.
up this and say that they're going to sew it together and make alien Lucy's.
Oh, God.
All right, so he's taking his shower by the chain room, and he sees the cat, and he's looking, he's saying, "Here, kitty, kitty," and then the alien starts to come down behind him, and this is the first time we see the full-grown alien.
Yes, and it's the first time I've ever seen a cat go, oh, fuck no. Because he starts to come out, and then as the alien gets down behind him, Jones, the cat, goes,
Yeah.
and like, no, run away, you stupid engineer.
The way they did that is they had either a real German Shepherd or a picture of a German Shepherd hidden behind a screen, and they just pulled it down real quick, and that's how they got the cat to hiss.
No shit.
I'm not
That's
exactly
cool.
sure if it happened in the locker or at this scene, but yeah, that's how they did that.
That worked.
I know, but
It
the
was-
acting in this movie is really good.
Yeah,
too.
the cacting is on point.
Yeah.
Like half the crew dies chasing this cat.
That's true. Well, but
Yeah.
that's the character. That is not the cat actor. But yeah.
That is true. That's the script. It's not the cat's fault, Mikey.
Yeah, but
But
this
if I was
cat,
the crew, I'd be like, we're going to have to let Jonesy go. Okay.
exactly. Jonesy passive aggressively kills pretty much everybody on this crew.
He's a cat. He can't. You can't blame the cat, guys.
I don't know. Cats are smarter than they look. So Brett,
Hawaiian shirt guy.
Hawaiian shirt
Hawaiian
guy.
shirt guy turns around, sees the alien, and the alien throat punch kills him.
He like mouth in mouth face punches him.
Yeah,
So the
because
big alien thing is that they have a mouth inside their mouth. That
That's
comes
so
and punches
weird.
out.
Why? That's horribly ineffective.
there's a lot of information out there about this, but I think it was inspired by some like arachnid kind of things that can't actually swallow. So one of your mouths is for like
Chewing and one is for
and
swallowing, I guess?
No, the other one is for like biting things off, and the other one is for like doing the more
The mastication, if you will.
right.
It means to chew, Mikey. Don't give me that face.
I prefer that mouth.
So then he gets killed, and we don't really see how it happens.
He gets throat punched.
Yeah, no, it bites his throat or something.
I know, but we don't see like a big giant scene of it, and I kind of like that. Like we don't need it, you know.
I do like how it immediately cuts from him getting throat bit by the alien to Ripley explaining to the crew on the bridge that he's dead. Because it seems like, and I'm sure it's not, but it seems like she was like, go find the cat, and then immediately went to the bridge. And while she's explaining that he's dead, he's still looking for the cat.
Right.
So like it's happening at the same time. Because Lambert's like, is there a chance he's alive?
Like-
No, he did.
So now they're talking about what they're going to do, and they're talking about going through the air vent to try to get it. She says it's using the air vent.
Yes.
This is how we're going to track it down, and then we're going to try to blow it out into space by venting things.
And this is where they decide, well, most animals are scared of fire instinctually.
Yeah.
We are going to use our flamethrowers that we just happen to have in an oxygen-rich environment. We're going to get to the airlock and blow it out in space.
Yeah, and like if you're going to burn something, theoretically you wouldn't break the skin, so you could avoid the corrosive blood thing if you just flamethrower it.
Yeah.
I can't believe they made a smart decision. But also in this future, they don't worry about the oxygen because they've apparently cured throat and lung cancer.
I think
because
they've solved that
Everybody
problem.
smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and flamethrowers are just cool, Maybe they have a
flamethrowers
couple.
are cool.
Especially if you put them in a helicopter. Space flamecopter.
That's what they needed. Just Kurt Russell flying in on a helicopter in space.
He doesn't even need a suit.
Be awesome. No, he wouldn't.
He's got that hat.
He'd just be drinking bourbon.
I know. The bourbon inoculates him against the zero gravity. This is when Tom Skerritt goes in and he's like, well, I'm about to go into the air vent. What's
And
my
he
chances
pulls-
of coming back?
Well, he mans up. He's like, I'm the captain. I should be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he mans
People
up.
volunteered. They're like, no.
Yeah.
No,
And
no.
Ripley volunteers. But Mother says, I don't know.
Doesn't he type into Mother, will I survive?
Yeah, I think
and
so.
And she's like, outlook not good. Or,
Ask again later.
yeah, please shake again or whatever.
She's like, I'm an Outlook calendar.
You don't have any appointments today.
yeah. Do you want to set an appointment meeting for the crew?
I don't know if you have an appointment with death
Mother,
or
what's
not.
the chances of surviving this alien outbreak? Clippy comes up. It's like, can I help you? This is not what it's supposed to be for.
We're sorry, room air vent is already booked for a meeting.
Right. Death hasn't responded to your Evite yet. There you
Per
go.
my last email, you're screwed, Tom.
Yeah, you're fucked. Now go John McClane through an air duct.
Right.
I mean, he is. Like
kinda is,
100%, he is crawling through an air duct with a big lighter.
Yeah.
It's really a flamethrower. I did want Tom Skerritt to, at some point, just with a close-up on his face with the tip of the flamethrower and him just being like, yeah, go into space, have a few laughs. Like, I thought it would be really funny.
Back at headquarters, they are watching this, like, it's almost like Pong or some kind of like 8-bit game because they've got the motion tracker so they know where the alien is and they can see it like following Tom Skerritt through these tunnels. And then they lose him. And then all of a sudden it's back and it's coming right for him.
Yeah, Lambert's like, it's in the same room. And he like,
This part scared the shit out of me. I do think this was the
Scary.
scariest moment for me. He gets got by the alien in a very dramatic, scary-ass way.
He does.
Yeah, the only thing the flamethrower does for him is just illuminate his own death.
That's true. Yeah, because I think that's what happens. He flamethrowers and
Yep.
it lights up that the alien is right there.
Yeah, and it's
throw it the wrong way.
terrifying.
All right, so now Lambert wants to just abandon the ship and get on
Good
the shuttle
idea,
and
yes.
take off. Yeah.
But they can't.
There's only 4 lifeboats. And then
Yeah.
you realize this whole company is not looking out for the common man.
No.
Yeah. No, I think it's not that there are only 4 lifeboats. I think only 4 people can get inside the one lifeboat. They are in the Space Tanic, like 100% in the Space Tanic. The thing is, one of them is a robot.
Right.
So there are only 4 people left.
There's 4 people left now, including
Oh, was there
Ash.
only 4 people left?
Because Kane's already dead, Brett's already dead,
Right.
and Dallas just
So
died.
it's just Sigourney Weaver, it's Lambert, it's Parker, and the robot, and Ash.
Yes.
Right? So Ash
There's 4
bot.
people that can just leave.
and Jonesy.
I think what she said is it won't support
won't
4
hold 4
people.
people.
Oh.
And it
How many people does it hold?
3
3?
apparently. But there are only truly 3 people left.
So Ripley's plan is to go through the air vents and like inch by inch.
She's going to basically do what they were trying to do.
And in Halloween 2018, like she will go through, clear a room, and then shut it off and kind
Yes.
of just eliminate places that this thing. So she's narrowing down where it is, and then once they back it into a corner, they're going to blow it out to space. So that's their plan. Ash is like, he doesn't want to kill it, and we're starting to see he's kind of sabotaging a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
of this.
Okay. Because at this point, Ripley's like, well, I've got access to Mother now.
And
Well,
I'll
she
get
does.
my own answers. Thank you.
Because I think she's the ranking official on the ship now,
she
right?
is. And-
Because the XO, Kane, died first, and now the captain's dead. So she's
Yeah.
the captain
She's
now.
the captain
And she
now.
gets
Yeah.
suspicious of Ash. Like,
She does. She's been suspicious of Ash, but now
Is this when she goes to Mother and
This
she's
is.
like,
she's like, why isn't science helping us get rid of this alien? Which is a very weird question.
why isn't science helping get
It's
rid
a
of this
really
alien?
weird.
like, why do you keep
worded.
saying "do not compute"? Why won't you help us figure
It's
this
like,
out?
why can't silence eliminate alien? It's a really weird worded question.
That
I
is
swear
very
to God,
strange.
that's what it said. Something like that.
I don't remember.
It answers that question by saying Special Directive 957, Science Officer Eyes Only.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
so then she overrides that, and that's when she gets the answers that Ash has been sent on a mission. He's the one that rerouted this, and the reason was to try to collect the specimen, bring it back on the ship. Crew expendable.
Yeah, and that's when he's like right over her shoulder, very
Didn't he say
creepily.
right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That scared me. I didn't know that was going to happen. It's like he had a ring on that made him invisible and then just creeped into that little thing.
That is 100% what happened.
And then took his ring off.
And he's like, I must bring Precious back to Earth.
And so now Ash attacks Ripley because this is the next time that Ash just starts closing these doors as she's about to walk out.
Because they leave the inside of Darth Vader's egg chamber and they're like fighting about what they're doing and why the crew's expendable when the alien's not. Fuck that. That's stupid.
Everyone's like, open the door, Ash.
And you see Ash is starting to sweat milk and Ash is like shutting the door around Ripley and not really talking. It's Ripley like yelling at Ash.
Yeah. And then he rips a chunk of her hair out.
Oh, I didn't realize
and starts like
that.
smashing her around. And this is when I think she actually gets her nose.
No, because her nose is bloody before this.
Yeah, she comes in.
Her nose is bloody the second she leaves his mother. I think it's because she was doing rails of coke in her trailer before this scene.
Ripley.
Hashtag not my Ripley, guys. So they start fighting and he starts trying to like rape her mouth with a porn mag.
Yeah, he knocks her out and starts to stick a giant magazine in her mouth.
Which is the weirdest
a dirty
way to
mag, and then he's like milking all over the place.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
in
real
space,
disturbing. No
No
one
one
can hear you
you
milk.
cream.
Nailed it. Delivered, Mikey. Yes! I love it. I want to say this now because I've been waiting to say this the whole time. This is real stupid to me. For me, he does not need to be a robot and it just looks stupid. It doesn't feel right to me. It's real dumb.
It's really disturbing to me. This is one of the
I like this.
freakiest
I like
parts to me.
this because you do think he's going to be like just an evil dude.
Yeah.
But instead he's a company robot.
As you were watching this, and we both knew it was going to happen, but you were like, what, is he possessed by an alien?
Yeah, I was
What's
like, what is happening? This
And then-
is so stupid.
Because then Parker comes up and knocks his head backwards. And so
Just off. Knocks his head off.
And it's still kind of attached. It's kind of like the T-1000, like his head's going backwards, but it's still attached.
Well, it's like it's dangling sort of on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things in the Alien franchise that grosses me out is how milky everything is. Like these don't look like, it just, it doesn't look like the Terminator robots or like machinery.
It looks like Bukkake Bot.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know what that is.
So would you say that it's sort of a cream type stuff?
It is, yeah. It looks very like organic. Like
Yeah.
like if they
get
didn't
it.
say it was a robot, I don't know if I would have figured out that it was an android.
No,
you know?
no, because it's filled with like milk and like Mardi Gras beads. Like that's not a robot. I do like this next scene where they bring him back to ask him questions because though it's done pretty well. He's like on the table.
Yeah, and his head's kind of backwards.
It's a good effect.
It really is
Yeah.
because his head's kind of sitting next to the rest of his body on the table and he's still talking. He's just kind of reconfirming what Mother has already said. And he says they can't kill it. I'm not going to lie to you about whether you're going to make it out because you're probably not.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you about your survival chances, but
Right.
good luck.
Good luck,
Like,
toodaloo.
and they ask him again, like, why did you do it? And he's like, it's pretty clear. It said that the priority was the alien and everything else was secondary.
Exactly.
Including use.
And I think because he's an android, like I think it's a little more believable that he doesn't really have much humanity in him, and he could just kind of forsake all of them because his
any
mission is what
humanity, yeah.
he's been programmed for.
Absolutely.
But he's talking about it, and like he's saying it's a perfect organism, and he admires its purity. And he said it's unclouded by conscience, remorse, and morality. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And that's another theme that's kind of going to continue through the franchise too.
The three of them, Parker, Lambert, and Ripley, decide, well, there's three of us. We can get on the escape pod. So they burn up Ashbot and then head towards the escape pod,
Yeah,
right?
and they decide they're going to get in the escape pod and just blow the ship up.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. This is a good idea.
They're going to do the space version of burning it down.
Yeah, they're going to burn it down in space.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty smart decision.
Yes.
Except they separate, and Parker and Lambert go to get coolant.
Yeah.
And-
they go to get antifreeze for the oxygen sensors.
Every one of our
or whatever.
space movies involves people going to get tubes of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, this happened in Event Horizon,
Yeah.
too.
With a man and a woman, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The woman with short hair.
And they
Interesting.
both die.
So Ripley starts to look for Jonesy because she hears some distant meowing. And so she goes on a really long search. And meanwhile, Lambert and Parker are going to get coolant.
Yeah.
And this is when Todd deduces that because Ripley is on our Final Girls merch, that she is the only one who's going to survive. And so he just writes off Lambert and Parker.
Oh,
and
I knew they were
they're
going to
about
die.
Why would they split
Yeah.
up again?
Because Ripley needs to be the last person alive. I mean, I don't really know of any other reason. They should have all stuck together.
I guess
Right?
she's there to start like working on the procedure.
Oh, wait, was she,
Oh,
I
'cause
think
she's
she
in
was there to
command.
start the
Yeah.
countdown, right? Something like that.
because she says you've got 7 minutes.
Well, yeah, doing the self-destruct seems like a big convoluted bop it kind of mess.
And
'Cause
it
you gotta
probably
push down 3
should.
cylinders and do this and go over there
I
and
think it
hold
was
the
4
handles.
cylinders.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you got to pull the things. And
Oh,
do that.
yeah.
But it's going to make your ship explode and you're in space, so it probably should be a multi-step procedure.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it should be a Rubik's Cube.
How do fucking Rubik's Cubes work? I cannot solve those things.
Math, I think. I don't know.
I know, man.
What
just
are
like-
you, the 80s?
Yes. Ripley finds the cat and puts it in a little space cat carrier.
Yes.
And I like how this happens because you see Lambert and then you see the shadow of the alien.
Yeah,
kind
and
of
at
creeping
first when you see
across.
the shadow, I thought it might have just been Parker, but it wasn't Parker.
Yeah, it's not. It's alien.
This is when I kind of lose some respect for Lambert.
Oh, you mean because she's paralyzed by fear and can't move? I mean, honestly, if they had just listened to Lambert immediately when they got to the alien ship, every one of them would still be alive.
She
So,
pointed at it and said,
yeah.
let's not go in there.
Yeah.
Let's go call for help.
I don't hate her. I just don't think she has a very big part in the movie. She's probably the least seen person in the movie.
But yeah, so it gets both Lambert and Parker. And this is, I think, the most that we've seen the alien so far. And we see it kind of second mouth get them. And we see its tail kind of creep up Lambert's leg, but we don't really see how it gets them.
Oh, yeah.
We just,
Winky
but what
blinky.
I really like is that Ripley is hearing all of this happen.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't need to see this whole scene because we're hearing just weird noises and screaming.
Yeah, it's really just Lambert screaming or Lambert screaming. But isn't Ripley starting to self-destruct at this point?
I think she's been looking for the cat, and now she's going to try to find them to save them. And she sees them, and she sees that they're already dead. And so now she's like, okay, fuck it, I'm just going to set this self-destruct thing and get off. So she sets the emergency detonator. She's got 10 minutes.
But only 5 minutes to overturn the self-destruct.
Yes. So she sets that, and she starts running down the corridor. And then she kind of sees the alien and she backs up. And I guess the alien didn't see her because the alien doesn't have eyes. And I guess that's how the alien isn't seeing her.
But the reason she stops is because he is in between her and the escape pod.
Yeah,
Right.
he's tiptoeing around or something for some
Yeah.
reason.
And
Like
so-
there are tulips around.
And so now she's got to go turn off this emergency override thing for the
Right.
detonator. And she's only got like 20 seconds or something. She doesn't make it. And
No.
Todd said, like, you should get credit for starting
Yeah, well,
the
because she
procedure.
starts turning off the self-destruct at like 5 minutes and 20 seconds left, but because it takes 90 seconds to turn it off, and she only does it in like, it's like right after the 5 minute mark. Like
Right.
it's 4 minutes and 58 seconds when she
Yeah.
finally turns it off.
I thought she
And
was
it's
gonna
like,
make it.
no, fuck you. You didn't do it soon enough, so you're all gonna die.
Right. All right. So now she's running back down. She's got her flamethrower. She flamethrower walks through the ship kind of slowly for somebody who's only got 5 minutes to get to the shuttle.
Yeah, and you got to clear the shuttle before it blows, because that's a
Right.
huge ship that's going to blow
and it
up.
explodes like 5 times
Yeah.
too. All right, so she grabs Jonesy, and then she's only got 1 minute, and she gets onto the shuttle, and the shuttle leaves.
This is a great scene because you can just see the panic in her eyes that she's trapped between the ship blowing up and the alien in front of her, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's like just praying to God she makes it to that shuttle.
Yeah, and I do really enjoy this. It's a lot of tension. It's hard to describe it because it is just kind of a long scene of her just walking through these tunnels with tension mounting and a
Flames coming out.
flamethrower.
And flames coming out of the walls too because the ship's getting hot.
And then the ship blows up. She's gotten to a clear distance. It blows up like 3 times.
And honestly, it looks like they just reused the original explosion. Like, what are you
It's a
doing?
little more explody the
We
second and third time.
literally just saw this, and you're showing it again, and then it fades to pink,
Yeah.
and that lets you know it's finally blown up. And she's like, "I gotcha, you son of a bitch."
And I like explosions, so I was okay to see it 4 times. Everything's happy now. She's talking to Jonesy. And this is when she starts to make herself comfortable for her long sleep, and she kind of gets into her night clothes.
If by night clothes you mean just her panties and shirt,
Young Mikey was blown away by this.
oh, I bet. Oh, I bet.
I was like, what?
What is this?
Yeah, there's been a lot of articles and stuff written about this scene and like what it means and why.
What does it mean?
Like what it means for the feminist message of this movie.
I
and
feel like she was just getting into stasis.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I think it means too.
Yeah.
But like about whether it objectifies her and if like it
definitely
matches the
does.
tone. Yeah, I think it kind of does. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me that much, and we can talk about that more when we get to
okay,
fun
I can see
facts.
both sides. I can see how it could objectify her and also show her being even more vulnerable than she was on the ship because she feels a false sense of security.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, because she
But
does. She
also-
thinks that she's escaped and she's in the clear now.
It's very gratuitously objectifying her.
It is
Oh,
a
yeah.
little gratuitous because her underwear don't seem to fit very well.
No, it looks like they are way too small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brett took all the loose fabric, all the extra fabric on her underwear and put it on his boxers.
Like, I gotta make my corset.
Oh my God. Anyway, so she puts Jonesy into stasis, and then she starts to undress, and then she sees
Which is different than putting the cat to sleep.
Gross. I'll allow it. Anyway, so as she's stripping down to get into her stasis pod, she sees the alien who's just real tuckered out
Yeah,
after killing
alien
two
hand
people.
because it ate like 5 people, right, Mike? You
Yeah,
said
he ate 2 people in a row.
He didn't eat anybody. He throat punched them.
You don't grow that size without eating.
I mean,
And
okay.
they never found bodies.
no. We saw the bodies
Yeah,
of
we saw their
Lambert
bodies.
and
But not the other people.
I mean, it's a young alien too. It was just chest burst.
He's a grown
born
boy,
the other
Mikey.
day.
Well, then he's binge eating like teenage people do. That's what
Anyways,
it
he
is.
seems to be hiding in a little hidey hole on this
in the
shuttle.
fetal position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's legit asleep.
So she sees that it can't see him, and so she kind of creeps over to the spaceship, and she's slowly getting into her spaceship.
And this was the most like wow shot for me. I could
Yeah.
not believe they showed this shot.
It's a very basic instinct kind of moment.
Oh yeah.
All right, so she's getting into her spacesuit, and then it's starting to kind of notice and wake up and kind of maybe kind of coming to get her a little bit. And she goes and gets into.
I don't think it is. I think it's
No, it's
like
still asleep.
dead ass asleep until she starts the sequence
Yeah,
to
she
open the
smokes it.
doors.
And
No,
she starts-
smokes. She lures it out with the steam.
Well, I thought that was
She's
the process to open the door.
No, she's clicking the different buttons to find the steam where he's laying to get him out so she can suck him out of the ship.
and she's buckling herself into her chair too, and she's like, "Please don't wake up! Please don't wake up! Please
Yeah.
don't wake."
But as she finds the right vent, she like slowly turns around in her chair so it can't see her. And then it sort of gets up and walks towards her as she's like racing to hit the button to, I guess, propel him into space. But she also grabbed the space harpoon pistol. So she spins around in the chair and she hits the button. He gets sucked out into space, but he's holding on to the door frame. So she shoots him with the space poon pistol.
But the pistol gets caught in the door, so the alien is not getting sucked out. It's still kind of hanging on and starts to crawl its way back
No,
in.
it's like riding on the ship with like a skiing.
But then it kind of goes over a little bit, so it gets blasted by the blaster.
Well, it looked like it was trying to crawl back
It was
in
trying to crawl
through
back
there.
in.
Like
Yeah.
it went over there, I think, because it wanted to.
Right,
And then
yeah.
she was like, "No, I'll just burn you out." And
Yeah,
she does.
motherfucker, blast.
Yeah, it looked like he was space wakeboarding and just got too close to the ship.
That's what happens, man.
Yeah.
He Icarused.
Yeah.
And then she,
then-
gets in stasis, and that's the movie.
Yeah,
And that's the movie. She's making her final post, and she says, "I'm getting in stasis. I should be in
6 weeks.
about 6 weeks. I'll get back into the network."
And hopefully the network will pick me up.
And that's the movie.
And that's the movie.
yeah.
Todd, you thought there was going to be like an extra jump scare at the end.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of these movies have like the last minute
I
jump scare
hate
thing.
that in horror movies.
Me too.
It's
I
my
think it's
least favorite
stupid.
horror trope.
I don't know. I think when it's well done, I really enjoy it, but it's so rarely
I've
well
never
done.
seen it well done.
All right, let me give my final thoughts first because I feel like I kind of shit on the movie at the beginning, and I do really enjoy it, and I liked it a lot better this time when I was really invested and I was really paying attention, and I think just in a different place in my life, I'm really kind of looking at Ripley as this kind of feminist icon, and I've got some more to say about that in fun facts, but yeah, I did really enjoy it. It's not one of my favorites, just partly because space just isn't my thing, but yeah, I think it's really well made. It's really effective. It's really tense, and I love Ripley.
Do you think if you had been to space once that you would like it more?
I think if I had gone to that system that they were at and I could kind of connect a little bit more to what it was like to really walk on that rock and see that space nostril ship, I think I really would have been in the place. And yeah. So yes, to answer your question, Todd.
You are such an ash.
I love this movie, and I think it holds up, and I think the effects hold up. I like the plot.
They do.
Analyzing it with y'all makes me see a lot more plot holes than I usually do. But I really liked it. I liked the characterization. I liked Ripley. I liked Dallas. I like all the different personalities and how they dealt with it.
I didn't really see a lot of potholes. That's interesting.
I didn't really see that many.
But it's the
either.
first time I've seen it, and
But
I'm.
potholes like they should have never gone in there in the first place.
Oh, is that a plot hole, or is it just
no,
like
that's just poor decisions,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just poor decision making. And they're space truckers, so like
Yeah.
they're not known for like making the best decisions. By the way, truckers out there, thank you so much for delivering our goods and services. You are the backbone of the American
and for
culture.
listening to our podcast while you're on your roof.
There you go, Gen 2. And if you ever get the chance to go to an alien vehicle, don't take it.
Just call for other trucks.
Yeah, call the space guys.
I really enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching it with y'all. I'm glad Jen liked it better by the end, and I liked watching it with you, Todd, because there's only a few scary moments, and then the rest of the time you can kind of appreciate how well made the movie is, like the set design, the special effects. Like I really
looks really good.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I didn't like the movie, but only because it scared me, and I hate being scared. Aside from that, I get why people like it. It looks great. There was really only one shot that I was like, that doesn't look great, but it was fine.
And it was 2 seconds out of the whole movie.
Yeah, it was
Right.
2 seconds, and it didn't look bad.
Right,
Let me be
exactly,
clear.
yeah. You
It
could just
didn't look,
notice.
Yeah, it just didn't look amazing. The rest of it, you can tell a lot of these spaceship shots and stuff are miniature, but they're great. They did very, very well. Practical effects on this are awesome. And the story's pretty good.
I think so too. Yeah.
I just didn't like that Ash was a robot. I thought that was sort of stupid.
And I like that.
But that's super like.
But that's just a preference for you.
That's just super like something I didn't like, but I get why other people might like it. I get why it's 40 years later, it's still revered as one of the best.
Yeah.
I get it.
And we should say it's celebrating its 40th anniversary. And for a movie that is 40 years old, it is still really watchable, really enjoyable, and looks great. I know it's been remastered, but it really holds up 40 years later.
It does. Absolutely. Let's talk box office because it made some money, guys.
Yeah.
It made some
it's
money.
still making money.
Do you have any idea what the production budget is, either of you?
It's $10 million.
Very close.
$9 million.
Other direction. It's
$11
$11 million.
million.
Yeah. So for
Come on
11
down, Mikey.
nice. I'm on board for it. So it made $80 million domestic.
That's
And
a lot back then.
it's a shitload. We'll talk about that in a second. And 24 million foreign. So it made over $100 million in 1979, which is a huge amount. And if you adjust it for inflation, that's $283 million.
Wow.
So that's real great on an $11 million investment. That's real great. So it did great. Obviously, it spawned shitloads of sequels and prequels now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Because the Prometheus series is prequel to Alien, right? Let's do some Jen's fun facts.
All right. Jen's fun facts.
Now with more fun.
So let me say 2 really great podcast episodes about this movie. Our Faculty of Horror has a great episode on Alien and Aliens. And Spinsters of Horror, I Spit on Your Podcast, has a really great episode about this and the movie Pandorum. So check them out for like kind of more academic discussion of this movie if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, we're basically the space truckers of podcasts.
We kind of are, you know?
Oh, man, that's true.
This was really inspired by Star Wars, and it took a while to get this produced because when the script was being written, by the way, the people that wrote the script also wrote Total Recall.
Really?
All right, so they were writing this, and it was taking a while because nobody really was too interested in it. And then Star Wars came out, and everybody wanted to do a space movie, and this was just already in the hands of a producer. So that's how this kind of got pushed into production.
I guess that makes sense because everyone's trying to jump on the bandwagon. But
Exactly.
it's a
And
great movie.
It really did, yeah.
And it's way different than Star Wars, so it's no way a ripoff.
No, at all.
No, not at all.
It just
It's just
happens
in
to take
space.
place in space.
And
Yeah.
he was thinking more of it like Jaws in space. And it functions as a slasher in a lot of ways.
That's
you know?
what I think it's more of a slasher than a Jaws.
Right, I think so too. And then you see, I mean, it's got a creature, so I can see the connection between that. This is much more a slasher than I think Aliens and the rest of the movies in the franchise too, you know? So the original title of this was Star Beast. But,
What?
I know. But they didn't like that title very much.
He
so
was
they
my favorite
changed it.
wrestler in 1989.
Was he? Star Beast!
I was an Iron Sheik, man.
It came down to casting either Sigourney Weaver or Meryl Streep.
Really?
Yeah, which I imagine would just have been totally different.
Meryl Streep is one of those people who's always been old in my mind. So, like, I'm looking at young Sigourney Weaver, and in my mind, Meryl Streep, 60,
You're
running
seeing like
around
the
and
Iron
shit.
Maiden in this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
but apparently they were roommates in college.
Really?
Sigourney Weaver and Meryl Streep, yeah.
I mean, they're probably right around the same age, but I just didn't really recognize Meryl Streep until she was much, much older.
Right, me
Yeah.
neither. And listeners, that sourcing is from IMDb, so I apologize if it's not true, but it was really interesting. Okay, so the original ending was she gets to the shuttle and the alien rips her head off and the alien makes the ship's log in Ripley's voice, like mimicking the voice, but they didn't ever shoot that. They
Yeah, that
added
sounds
more.
so dumb.
Yeah, kind of does. Well, and you kill your main character, you know. Ripley was originally written as a male character.
Interesting.
when they were writing this, they intentionally wrote all the characters as unisex. I think you can kind of see that in the characterization, and I think that's why they all kind of feel like real characters. You know, there's not really a whole lot of stereotyping in them. But Ripley was written as a male character, and I think that's why she feels so empowering. Reading about the writers, I think they were really big feminist writers, and I really appreciate all of the thought that they put into the writing of this movie because they intentionally made Kane, who's the one who gets face hugged, they made him male. They didn't want the person who he essentially gets raped and
he's
impregnated.
Pregnant. Yeah.
And they didn't want to make that a female character for a couple of reasons because they felt like it was too much of a horror cliche. And they wanted men to be able to kind of empathize with that, or they wanted to kind of tap into men's fear of penetration and this thing that we don't really see happen to men in movies that much, you know? Yeah. And so I really appreciate
and men
that.
kind of fear pregnancy.
They do.
Anyway, in women's bodies. And like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, you know.
No, yeah, but it seems so strange to men in a lot of ways because that's not something they're ever going to experience.
Alien.
Whoa.
Nailed it.
It was about the male fear of penetration, and he really wanted to make all the men in the audience cross their legs.
Yeah, I mean, I think this guy went on to write the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito hit Jr., right?
I think so. I mean, he knew Arnold Schwarzenegger from Total Recall, so he just wanted to team up again.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he has said that it's about reproduction by non-consensual means, and there's a lot of feminist writing and discussion about this that I don't know if we're going to do justice to, but really check that out because it's really interesting.
That sounds like an interesting topic.
It really is. I'm telling you, check out that Faculty of Horror episode, and the Spinsters of Horror really get into a lot of the feminism of this movie, and it's really interesting. And there's an article about like what this means now in the Me Too generation too, and it suggests that men should fear rape too, and I think it kind of helps men empathize with that kind of thing. But I do want to say, I don't want anybody who's writing a movie now to think, oh, I'll just write my female character as a man and think that's going to make her a strong female character, because that was great in 79 because a lot of the characters we were getting then were more like Lambert and more kind of stereotypical female characters. But now I don't want to have to be like a man to be taken seriously. I don't want a character that I'm supposed to connect with to have the traits of a man for me to be able to find empowerment with her. I want the things that make females very strong and very capable that are different from men. I just want, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Like,
I mean, at the end of the movie, she makes it very clear she's a woman.
And I've got thoughts about that too.
Well, yeah, because I don't think Ripley is written like a man. I think she's just written like you're saying, like a unisex character. Because I don't see anything that differentiates her as a man or a woman. She's just a person who's a competent.
And
she didn't come off as
taking her
manly to me.
just as seriously as everybody else.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you're writing a screenplay right now, I shouldn't have to be like a man to be taken seriously. Why the underwear scene doesn't bother me so much is because I'm watching this movie knowing that she's been written as she was going to be a male character, and now she is totally feminized and she still gets to be a female. It's like in the movie Revenge where she's kicking ass, but she's still got these giant pink earrings. So we still remember that she's a woman and she has not become totally masculinized, but she still kicks ass. Strong women are not strong women because they act like men. They're strong women because they are strong women.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm not criticizing the alien writer. I'm saying that was great then.
No.
Don't do it.
I want my life partner to be able to shoot an alien out of the space lock.
Have you seen the movie As Good as It Gets?
And that's what I was thinking. Yeah, when he says, how do you write women so well? And he says,
I think of a man, and then I take away reason and logic.
Exactly. Yeah, don't do that, screenwriter.
Yeah. The whole time you were talking, and the reason I started laughing wasn't because you were giving your feminist take, but I was like, holy shit, this is like the opposite of that. Right. And it's not Jack Nicholson who's saying it.
Right. It's just like the cat. He's not luring them to his death, you know? I got one more fun fact, and then we're going to talk about the chest burster scene.
Okay.
And I love this fun fact because it was really interesting. And I haven't heard a lot about this. So Todd mentioned at one point, oh, that's definitely not a man in a suit. Because I think the couple of minutes that you see the alien, you see his full body, you can tell that it's a man in a suit.
Oh, yeah.
And it is.
Well, they found a really lanky guy to be in the suit.
And that's what I got fun facts about. His name, I'm probably going to say this wrong, is Bolaji Badejo. He's a Nigerian visual artist, and he was discovered in a pub in Soho. And he was super tall and lanky, and he had really thin arms. And I got several different measurements of how tall he was. I got 6'1", I found 6'10", and I found 7'2".
Those are drastically different.
I know. That's
his
what
legend
I thought
grows throughout the years.
Just really like his height.
But I thought it was interesting. But he was super lanky and tall, and so yeah, they just discovered him and pulled him into this, and he's not really on screen for very long. But after this, he went back to Nigeria, he started working in an art gallery, and he never really worked in Hollywood again. He kind of faded away, and then he died of sickle cell anemia when he was 39. I know.
This fact is not as fun.
Well, no, and I just thought it was cool. I wanted to kind of talk about him a little bit because I think for a man in a suit, there's a lot of horror movies that do that really wrong, and I think there's never really a moment until the very end where I'm like, that's a guy in a suit. It doesn't look bad. I think they did a really great job.
Well, I think that's because he's rarely on screen.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's part of it.
And the parts they do show are like covered in mucus.
Right, yeah. And Ridley Scott's talked about this. He didn't want to show the monster too much because once you become used to him, it's not as effective anymore.
It's also not that scary once you've seen him a bunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if it's just a second and he's just flashing or you just see his jaws coming at you, then yeah, it is scary. So let's talk about the chest burster scene. And Todd, you had a fun fact about this.
Yeah, so everyone in the scene knew something was going to happen, but didn't know the full extent of what was going to happen.
Right.
So I think what they knew was going to happen was the blood popping out of the chest. They didn't know that then the alien was going to pop out. So all those reactions are legitimate reactions because they had no idea what the fuck was going to happen. And you look at Tom Skerritt's face, he looks like he's mad. Like he's like, what the fuck just happened? He doesn't look like he's
face.
Yeah. It's a great reaction. Everyone has a great reaction.
Lambert got blood splattered all over her face. She's freaking out. Yeah.
But Tom Skerritt's face is like, he looks like he's pissed at Ridley Scott. It's so great.
But also kind of thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so because of that, because they wanted that reaction, they did it in only one take.
Yeah.
But it almost went terribly wrong because apparently they didn't realize right before, I think they'd already started filming, and they realized his shirt was in the way and it was going to get caught on the shirt and it wasn't going to bust through. So I think Ridley Scott kind of just dashed forward and just sliced the shirt a little bit with just a tiny little knife just to make sure that the alien could get through. So, phew, crisis averted. If you've seen Bravo's 101 Scariest Movie Moments, I think this is like number 7 or something, or maybe
I'm
even
surprised
number 4.
that this is what stood the test of time and not the facehugger scene, because the facehugger scene's pretty creepy and pretty suspenseful.
But you don't see the impact of
That's
that.
true.
It's like a divided
Yeah,
scene,
that's true.
And I
That's
think
true.
if you had seen it on, and you see that more in Aliens, you see more like the impact of it grabbing onto a face, and then you see the person with it on their face.
Ah, gross.
But yeah, and I think because of that, this scene, I imagine seeing it in the theater the first time would have freaked me out. But now I know what's going to happen so much that now I'm kind of just watching it and like marveling at it.
Well, now Todd knows. Everybody knows what's going to happen.
I mean, I had never seen the movie and I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I was able to see like, oh my God, their faces are awesome.
I can
in
only
this scene.
compare it to like you would see Empire Strikes Back and not know Vader is Luke's dad.
Exactly.
Like, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
If you didn't know Vader was Luke's dad, you don't know German, because Vader means father in German.
Well, those are my fun facts.
Nice.
Great fun fact. I like this.
Scary scale.
Hey, listeners, our scary scale is how we rank how scared we were by the movie we watched today. It's not a ranking of the quality of the movie. It's how scared we were tonight when we watched it. Our 1 example is Ghostbusters. Our 10 example is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All right, Todd, what you got?
I'm like between 4 and a 5. I'm going to go 5, but it would have been higher for me had I not known a lot of the stuff going into this. If I had gone to see this in the movie in the movie theaters in 79, it would have destroyed me on some level, because it's very, very scary. But I knew the facehugger scene was coming. I hadn't seen that before, but I knew it was coming. The chest burster scene I knew about, and obviously saw the Spaceballs version, so I sort of knew what that would look like.
The Spaceballs version is William Hurt.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I
he's
haven't
in
seen
it.
that movie
Yeah, it's great,
So it's
man.
the
But
same
you don't like
actor, which I
comedy,
think is funny.
So it just wasn't as scary as I think it really should have been had I not had, pop culture sort of ruin the scariest moments for me. Because the one scary moment that I didn't know was coming was Dallas in the air vents with the flamethrower and the alien being there, and that fucking scared me.
Yeah, that scared the fuck out of you.
It was super scary. So
funny.
had I had that same reaction to the other moments that definitely do warrant that sort of reaction, I just knew it was coming.
Right.
I would have given it much higher, but I'll say 5. It was still scary.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to give it a 4. I guess it's because I've seen it a lot, and it scared the bejesus out of me when I was a child.
Yeah, man.
Well, it scares you, and then it like throws that Ripley at you, so you feel a little better at the end.
Yeah, you
but
do. Yeah, you do.
The air vent scene's super scary.
Yeah.
The facehugger scene's super scary and creepy, and just like the level of tension that stays high in the movie I think it warrants a 4 for me. I would be higher, but I've just seen it so many times.
Yeah. I get that.
All right, don't be mad at me, guys. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Why would we be mad at you?
It's like right next
No,
to
I'm
ours.
talking to listeners.
Oh, I got you.
And I think part of this is because I saw this as an adult. The first time I saw this, I was a grown up, and I'd already seen the chest burster scene before. I already knew a lot of
Sort
what
of
was
like
going to
me.
happen. So it didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't kind of lost its impact. But that said, I still recognize it as very scary at the time. I think it's very effective. I think it builds a lot of tension, and I still think it's a really enjoyable movie to watch. It just kind of loses its scariness impact because it's just so like ubiquitous now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So
I think
3.
if I had seen this movie 3 times, I'd probably give it a 3 or around
Right.
there because I would know everything's coming and be prepared for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And listeners, just to remind you, that is not a ranking of the quality of this movie.
No,
Before
yeah.
you at us, because quality, I'd probably give this a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, it's up there for
Yeah.
sure. And speaking as someone who I don't want to ever see this movie again, I get why it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. Like, I'm so scared of scary movies that I never want to watch them again. I literally never watched scary movies before this podcast. I
know.
hate them.
And then you just went all in and committed to weekly podcast.
I don't know why I did
You
that.
do it for the fans. You do it for the lulz.
So this week, you guys made me watch Alien. What are you guys making me watch next week?
All right. I am excited about this. I have seen this movie before. This is one demanded by Jacob Hopkins of Modern Horrors. I think he really wants to scare the shit out of you.
Is this one we're going to his house to watch and
We're going
record?
to his house
Am
because
I
he
invited?
Yes, you're invited. He demanded that we watch this on his setup, and I've built enough suspense. We are watching Last Shift. It's available on Netflix right now. Check it out.
Is it Danny Glover just saying, I'm getting too old for this shit?
It's not, but it is about police officers.
There you go.
Yeah, it's about someone working the last shift of a police station that they're moving out of.
No, I think I have seen this.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like it. I'm excited.
All right. I mean, I don't know anything about it. Like, I've never heard of it until Jacob was like, you guys are coming over. And because he runs the Modern Horrors Podcast Network with Luke that we're a part of, we just
We
sort of have to
have
do what he
to.
says. Yeah.
I know.
So I guess I'll be going over there at some point to watch a very scary movie. And all right, guys. So make sure you watch The Last Shift. And if you want to watch along with that in the Facebook group, Emmy hosts watch parties in the Facebook group. So as long as you remember the Facebook group, you'll see messages on Sundays from her. She does one at noon and one at 6 Central Time. And she's the best. She does it 2 times on Sundays because we have listeners around the world and she wants to make sure everyone has a chance to do it when they can. So thank you for that. Anyway, join the Facebook group so you can be a part of that. So guys, we try and reward people who give us 5-star reviews by giving them a shout out on the podcast and reading their review. So this week, we're going to read a review that we got from iTunes and Mikey, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, it's from Mike, SN exclamation point.
Now, Mikey, is this you?
No.
Good.
Okay, so he says on May 19th, 2019, the hosts have excellent rapport. They've covered some of my favorite films, and this is a very solid listen.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great idea for a show. 5 stars.
Agreed. Well, thank you very much, Mike,
thank
SN
you.
exclamation point. We appreciate
awesome.
your 5-star review. And if you guys want to have your 5-star review run on the podcast, just leave us a 5-star review. If it's on iTunes, we can see all those. If it's not, we may not be able to see them. So just screenshot and email it to us and we can read them that way. Or,
can
if you leave
find
us one on Facebook, we can see that too.
And I'm reading at an 8th grade level now, so you
he's
guys are really
working his
teaching me
way
a
up.
lot.
Yeah, getting through it's really helping you learn to read. So as I mentioned before, we are a member of the Modern Horrors Podcast Network. And if you want to listen to their podcast, they actually just released one today. So they're back in the habit.
Oh, they did?
They're back in the habit of releasing podcasts. So check them out. Also check Final Girls out and Death, Dying, and Other Things. And if you listen to us in their feed, you can listen to us 2 days earlier in our feed. So make sure you're subscribing to our feed for that. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are at Horror Virgin pretty much everywhere. Mikey is at mrandolph24.
Yes.
Jen Ferratu is Jen Ferratu. And I'm Todd J. Awesome on all the social channels. Obviously, we're all in the Facebook group, so hang out with us there. In the Facebook group, we do watch parties, questions of the day. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you guys can post your own stuff. It's a lot of fun to be a part of and be an active participant in.
Yeah, it's fun. We got some awesome mods in there too.
Yeah, we do. Thank you guys for modding the group because it's
Yes.
like we couldn't do all that. Check out the website at horrorvirgin.com. Jen writes a blog that is up there. Mikey has promised to do
I'm
some.
going to do it this week, I think.
All right, let's knock it out, man.
God. I'm like 400, 300, 400 pages into it.
Those are very different numbers.
Well, it's between them, maybe.
We'll
It's
say
like 350.
350.
Yeah,
Jinx.
nailed it. So yeah, guys. Come on down. So check out the blog there. You can also, there's a link to our merch store there.
We got some new designs pretty recently.
Yeah.
And the merch goes on sale pretty frequently.
It seems like every 2 or 3 weeks,
I know,
which is
yeah.
great. So
yeah, we try to post it when
it's not on
does.
sale. You wait a week or two.
Exactly, yeah.
I want some new mics.
I mean, I want some new mics too. And if you want to help us get new mics,
Right.
subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin. A lot of great perks up there. We're trying to think of new content. So if you have any ideas for what content we can put on Patreon, let us know.
But we've got a really fun idea in the works.
We do. We'll talk about it when we actually put it in the plan. But yeah.
So this was a really fun episode. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, it's a really iconic movie. I'm glad we
really
did it too.
Yeah, that's going to be it from us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you watch Last Shift for next week.
That's right.
Yep, I'm Jen.
I'm Mike, and I'm just really glad to be back and feeling better. And thanks for everybody's kind words. And I missed you guys.
Oh.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd, guys.
Oh, crap. Have a good week.
Bye. Nerds.